Muted, please.
Okay, I started it. I'll mute everyone.
All right, thank you very much. So good evening, everybody. Oh, let me turn my camera on. Here we are. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Montserrat Oni. I am chair of the Social Services Committee and also currently second vice chair of Community Board 17. Welcome to the Social Services and Health Committee meeting. Thank you all for joining. Really appreciate your presence. Hopefully, as this year continues, we'll be able to grow the membership of this committee. I've had some people reach out that they're interested in joining, but maybe they weren't able to join today or possibly will come a little bit later. So would love if everyone on the call could introduce yourself and state if you are a board member, your position, and your interest in being on the Social Services Committee. So I'm going to start with Simone.
Good afternoon. My name is Simone Sylvester. I am a board member and a new committee member. And I live in East Flatbush. And I'm just interested. And this is one of the committees that I'm able to actually attend. And that's it. And I'm interested in terms of what type of social services and just the health of our community.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Can I ask your personal background? Like, do you work in healthcare or something like that?
I'm in housing.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. And Ms. McCain-Brown?
Good evening, everyone. Monica McCain-Brown, committee member.
Welcome. Thanks for being here. Sabin?
Good evening, everyone. I never officialize it, but I'm always joining, so I'll reach out. I live in the Flatlands area. I am in healthcare. I've had a very broad background, but I'm pretty much really very supportive of social services and health in the community. And anything that I can do, whenever I join, I do speak up and ask questions because I'm also in another community board where we talk about restaurants. So it's always an interesting conversation how if we can connect the health of the community with what we are dealing with in terms of restaurants, food, nutrition, all the things that are important in keeping people alive and healthy for their family. So that's why I joined. I really like this team when we're able to get things done, no matter what it is. So that's why I joined. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Ms. Reed, could you just introduce yourself to the group? You're on mute if you're talking.
I'm sorry. Good night, everyone. My name is Janice Reed, and I am a former board member and current Social Services Committee member. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Green, could you introduce yourself to the group, please? I think you're still on mute. We're not hearing you. Looks like he's off. Ms. Lyons, will you mind checking if his mic is on? I know we were hearing him earlier. No, Mr. Green, are you there? Okay, well, if you can hear me, says like your speaker is off or something. Got it. Okay. Well, if you can hear me, please, if you can get your sound to work, please feel free to introduce yourself when you're ready. And I see someone else just joined. Jeanick Williams. Sorry, I don't want to mispronounce your name.
Hi, it's Janique Williams. How are you? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Could you just introduce if you're a board member, community member, and your interest in the Social Services Committee?
I'm a board member and also a community member. I'm healthcare. I'm a radiologist technologist. I've been in healthcare for about 18 years. So I just want to be a part of something to maybe, make sure the community hears about outbreaks or anything going on health-wise that we could better educate ourselves and others to keep us safe as a community.
Amazing. Thank you. Appreciate you for being here. So thank you all for joining. As I mentioned, this is the first meeting of the 2024-2025 year. So officially calling this meeting to order. And as for the chairperson's report, since this is our first meeting and we're just starting, not any like major business to report, but I know we have some people who are like completely new to this committee, so I want to give you an idea of what we do. Typically, the Social Services Committee hosts one event per year, which is the health fair that's hosted in the spring. Our most recent one was hosted in April, and it hadn't been hosted for a few years prior to that because of COVID. And we hosted it right in front of the board office. Also, typically, agencies will come to our meetings to share information, whether it's about OBH, which is One Brooklyn Health, or other health-related issues in the area. And sometimes we'll pass that information on to the general board meeting, or they'll come to us first and then present at the general board meeting. Like when Kingsborough Hospital was shutting down their inpatient services, they came to us first. And one thing that we've discussed for some time. Sorry, I see that we have another member. Trisha, do you want to just introduce yourself really quickly? Thank you for joining.
Hi, Trisha, CD17.
Welcome, thank you. So one thing that has come up, so last year was my first full year chairing the committee, and so I think it was like the first time I was able to get an idea of like what a full year looks like. And something that's come up consistently is we want to do more than just host one health fair. So we've talked about doing regular webinars and that sort of thing. And I do want to touch on that, and I would love to hear like what ideas other members of the committee have, also what capacity other members of the committee have, like if you have time to maybe reach out to people at OBH to do workshops and that sort of thing. But another thing that came out of the idea that we should be doing more than just one health fair is the idea of doing a board fair. And Chair James, who's the treasurer, kind of took up that mantle over the summertime to do some work to organize a board fair that would involve multiple committees, but really be sponsored by social services to get people in the community aware of like the resources that are available to them. And so we are actually having a board fair, and the Social Services Committee is technically the host. So along with Kamara Swaby, who's another board member, we are like sort of chairing and hosting this, but also still trying to get active participation from as many board members as possible. And that's going to be on October 19th. And as of now, we've reached out to Brookdale Hospital, SUNY Downstate, all of our local Congress people, DP, Commission on Human Rights, New York Life Insurance Company, Office of Citywide Health Insurance, Caribbean Women's Health Association, and several other agencies for participation. Originally, this was supposed to be late September, and so because of the date change, we're still trying to get confirmation. So if you have ideas of agencies, nonprofits, businesses that might want to participate, please do send them my way. Also very much like looking for participation, people who can be there day of, people who can help secure any kind of like in-kind donations. Like if you know any businesses that might be interested in donating food, that would be great. And so we're really trying to make this a big thing. We have Utica Avenue blocked off thanks to the 67th precinct from Church Avenue to Linden. So it's one block of Utica, and we'll have both sides of the street available to us. So we're looking to have breast cancer screenings. I've contacted New York Blood Center to see if they'll send a truck out to do blood donations. But we have about a month to go. It's October 19th. So we still have room for suggestions. So I want to open the floor if people have thoughts of things that we could do, people, agencies, companies, et cetera, that we could invite.
Simone Sylvester speaking. Oh. I'm not sure if mental health, will we have someone there, whether it's psychiatrists in terms of people maybe making an appointment or something along those lines of just where to start in terms of that. I'm thinking mental health and then maybe some I know yoga, but probably Pilates, like somehow locate. I find it difficult to find a Pilates class in the neighborhood. I usually have to go up to I work in the Bronx, so there's a place not too far from Yankee Stadium, but it would be nice to, on my way to Church Avenue, a detour to a Pilates studio.
That's a good call. Thank you. There actually is a new Pilates studio on Nostrand and Church, Nostrand and Linden. It's walking distance from the Nostrand stop. They're very small and very new. So I may actually just reach out to them to see if they want to come out. I think that's a really good idea. But in general, yes, we'll look. I know we have Department of Health and Mental Hygiene has been reached out to. They haven't confirmed for the updated date, but if we can look at some other mental health practitioners, that is a great flag. So thank you.
I'm sorry, do you know the name of the Pilates studio at Church and Nostrand by any chance?
I want to say it's called Fringe.
Okay, I'll Google it and see. I'll Google it.
problem.
Nostrand and Church.
It's like very close to there.
Okay.
Get off at Fringe Pilates studio. Get off at that
Okay.
train station. It's right there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Miss Reed, I saw you came off mute for a second.
Oh yeah, so I'm traveling that day, so I will not be here. But where is the location again?
So it's on Utica between Church and Linden.
Oh, okay. Utica, so the whole the whole block will be cornered off for that. Okay.
Yeah, we were originally
I
trying
know.
to get Church between Nostrand and New York, but we just weren't able to secure that space for the date.
Mhm. I know that downstate has a hearing, because at my church they came to do some hearing testing. So they have they can also come to do that as well.
Okay.
Forgot the name of their group. I can send it to you. I had the I think it's a group that do that from downstate. We can do hearing testing as well.
Okay. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Green, I saw you came off mute for a second.
Yes, I'm wondering if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. My name is Ronald Green. I'm a board member, newly appointed board member, and my background is as a social worker. I'm currently attached to the Administration for Children's Services, the New York City Administration for Children's Services, and certainly I am interested in your social services programs. Certainly, I would like to have more information of what we can do, what is available, and stuff like that. I'm kind of feeling out what's going on in your committee and to participate wherever I am, suited or can fit in.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all for now.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Any other thoughts for agencies? Actually, do you think ACS might be interested in tabling for the board fair, Mr. Green?
I can find out. I can find out from the relevant department if they're interested.
Okay.
When is it again?
October 19th.
October 19th.
I'll send
Okay, I'll make some inquiries.
I'll send an email to all committee members with the details about it. We have a save the date flyer, but our official flyer will be coming out this week as well.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on additions to the board fair? Okay, I see that another person has joined. Lavon, would you mind introducing yourself to the group and your affiliation with the board or committee?
Good evening. This is my first time. I'm a community member, Lavon McPherson. I live down on Farragut Road. Just looking to be involved.
Okay, thank you. What's your sort of interest in social services and health?
Oh, by trade, I'm actually a birth doula and a childbirth educator. I'm in that complete realm. Our local area here in East Flatbush, as far as birth is concerned, we're not doing that well. And so hopefully, just with being involved, we can I can support the movement and just making some change in birth in the local area.
Okay, appreciate that. So we're actually talking about the board fair that's going to be on October 19th on Utica Avenue. Do you know of any birthing organizations that might be interested in tabling for that event?
You have to excuse me, I'm a little sleepy.
No problem, no problem.
Rolling appointments. I'll have to think about it.
Okay. Would you mind?
Yeah, I don't know about the event on the 19th yet,
Okay.
so it'd be good to get some information.
Yeah, would you mind dropping your email in the chat and I'll make sure you're on the list for the committee and also that you get the information for the board fair.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so that ends my report, even though I opened it up to comments. So that's the chairperson's report. Is there any unfinished business from the previous session that anyone would like to bring up? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to new business. Does anyone have new business that you want to share with the group? Thank you, Levon. I'm going to copy that down. I also, as far as new business, just wanted to share some events that are going on. The SUNY Downstate is hosting an autism fair, and they requested that I come or any representative from CB17, and that is on September 29th. So that's next Sunday at Downstate. It's Autism Resource and Awareness Fair. I've shared the flyer with the communications chair to try and put it on the website and put it on our social media. And also, we're trying to find some social media partners of other people who have pages that are just a little bit more active than ours that will share it. So we're trying to share that out. But if anyone knows anyone who would appreciate, access to autism resources and awareness, please share that information. I'll also make sure to send it out in my follow-up email here. And then we were also asked to table at the Brooklyn Veterans Appreciation Parade and Resource Fair on Saturday, October 26th. I'm actually not available that day. The fair is going to be at the Central Branch of the Brooklyn Public Library, Saturday, October 26th. If anyone is interested in representing CB17 and Social Services Committee, please feel free to let me know and I can put you in contact. But that is another event that's happening in our community. And again, for new members of the community, oftentimes new social services related businesses, specifically in my 1.5-year tenure, homeless shelters and mental health centers usually come to the Social Services Committee to let us know when they're trying to open up in the neighborhood, just to give awareness. Typically, we, to be perfectly transparent, don't have a lot of leeway to say no, but I think it's more our obligation to let the residents of the community know, so that they can, be aware of what's coming into the community. And if there is space for us to share our opinions, we do that as well, but haven't had any outreach for that as of yet. So I assume we'll hear more from them in the new year. Usually the fall is a little bit quiet for that sort of thing.
Can I add something?
Please.
Yeah, I noticed that a new hotel popped up on, what's that, Nostrand and Avenue H, off of H and I think. And it's the location of it it's pretty odd, being right there, an actual hotel. So I'm kind of suspecting that this might be one of those hotels housing homeless populations. Do you know anything about that hotel?
I haven't heard about any new businesses or anything like that since maybe June or so, but I can definitely look it up and see, what their paperwork is and if they reached out to us. So it's in Flatbush Junction, basically?
Yeah, it's right down by the Target, the next block going towards Avenue I.
Oh, where Memorial Sloan Kettering is?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Got it. Okay. No, I hadn't. The other thing is, honestly, I'm not 100% sure that that is within Community Board 17. It feels like
That's
it
true.
might
Not
be.
17.
Yeah, that might be the neighboring community board. So I'll chat with the district manager just to check, and if I can find out any information. That is one of the struggles when things are on the borderline. It's like it still affects our community, but they might not have come to us just because the way the lines are drawn. They
Yeah,
didn't have to. So I'll try and find out some more information.
thank you.
Thank you for bringing it up. So as far as new business, also, this would be a great time to talk about any other thoughts for things that the Social Services Committee can do throughout the year. We have the board fair in October, which is great, and then we'll have our annual health fair in April. But in the meantime, if people have ideas or especially resources of things we can do even virtually for the community, to just bring more awareness to certain health things, please feel free to share. And if you don't have ideas now, please feel free to come next month with some more ideas.
I do know that the last time we met, one of our discussions, of course, as we've been proactive, is having the leaders in the hospitals and the healthcare actually come and give, updates, because a lot of the time, you'll read something in the papers, and then, of course, as you're taking the bus or driving, you'll see changes. One of the things that I did bring up in another community board are the new buildings that are coming up. For example, urgent cares that are coming up, urgent cares that are closing, new buildings along Flatbush, changes that are happening, Utica, how, certain things are closing down. So in other words, and then of course hospitals, right? Like Kingsbrook is no longer, going to be what it was supposed to be. And so now what does it mean when you have these changes coming? How does it affect the community for those who do live along Utica or, on the other side of Flatbush? What does it mean? So, because I believe the president did come and talk with us, but I think it was different. It was a different option back then, right? So now you're looking at the changes, and things happen. Urgent care is open, urgent care closed. Decisions are made by board members in the hospitals. But when they do come and talk, it gives you a sense of, okay, we do see construction happening in the Kingsbrook area. That's a pretty big one. But, when people come and talk, it makes you feel a part so you can understand. But there's also Rite Aid's closing, Walgreens closing. So, and then we know but there's been a high theft, right? So how does that affect the elder population? How does it, all these things are part of the community, and it's part of the health. If you can't go get your toothpaste, I think that's something to consider. It's not just limited to health and everything else, because it's social, right? It's the whole big aspect of social. I know for one of my complaints, and I complain, everything's locked up in Walgreens.
Yeah,
These people, it's the whole society.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant shopping experience at all anymore. I know the Rite Aid on Church in the 30s, like 38 or something like that. All Rite Aids closed, I believe, or like Rite Aid as a company was just shutting down locations, but it did hit our neighborhood hard because
hit ours too.
Yeah.
Our Rite Aid on Utica is closed. Walgreens, as you get further down in Kingsbrook, is closed. We have our CVS, and then we've got the Walgreens here. So if you think about the elderly population who do go get their medication, right? How does that affect them? I mean,
That's a good point. Yeah, I will see. I'll think about it. I'm going to chat with the district manager and the board staff about like how we can get some more communication from like these, maybe marquee businesses, and obviously also One Brooklyn Health. We do usually have a representative. We're supposed to have representatives that go to each member hospital of OBH, but I think there's been some turnover there. So I'll check in. to make sure we're getting those updates. But I appreciate the flag.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other new business? Oh, going twice. Great. Okay. So we did not reach quorum. So, and we also don't have any, I don't think we have minutes to approve. Ms. Lyons, did we have minutes that we needed to approve for this meeting? Nope. Okay. If so, I'm gonna, reach out to some people who I thought would be at this meeting. So hopefully we have a bit more attendance next month. Please look out, for updates on the board fair, from me via email because it will occur before our next meeting. It's gonna be, the 19th. I don't know if it's the 3rd or the 3rd, I guess it's the 3rd Sunday of October. So definitely, as I mentioned, we'd love as much participation as possible. And I'll follow up both with Mr. Green and Ms. McPherson if you all have ideas of other agencies that might be wanting to table. And in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to me via email if anything comes up.
Sorry, one more thing. Does the DOH normally join too? Because I do recall, I'm just remembering my memory a little bit. The DOH would usually come and actually do some talks and let us know. Do you remember that?
In my experience, they've only come when they had something to share. So they came when they wanted to let us know about Kingsbrook.
Yep.
But yeah, they don't just come regularly. But there tends to be enough information that they're here at least like 3 times in the year, but it's usually for something specific.
Okay, thank you.
And I did also want to mention in regards to the hospitals, when Downstate was closing or was under threat of closing, there was a coalition of people from multiple community boards as well as other, interested parties that joined to basically push back. And that meeting was happening one Thursday a month. And I did join them as a representative of Community Board 17. They kept the organization running in order to have a voice, like a collective coalition voice for health in Brooklyn to advocate for us. But that meeting just has been delayed or they pulled the meeting down the last handful of times. I think the last time they met was like May or so. But if any updates come from that committee, I will also share them here and with the wider community board.
Yes, thank you. That's also been in the news.
Yes. Yeah, there was a ton of work. And Brian Cunningham was really the legislator who did a lot of muscle work to help keep that open. So it was, it was really like a threat of closing. It wasn't one of those like, oh, they're just talking, like it was really gonna close. But there was a lot of pushback, which I think is great because I do think the community needed both the beds, but also like the teaching hospital for, residents to come into the community and provide services. So we're definitely glad that that stayed open. Okay, so that is the agenda for this meeting. I really appreciate you all for coming. Looking forward to working with you all through the rest of the year. And can we please get a motion to adjourn?
Before we adjourn, can I just say one thing?
Please.
So we talked about, or one of the members mentioned that all these like Walgreens and Rite Aid closing, which is true. I mean, I never thought I would see a day where I have to actually ask permission to buy toothpaste. And really, that's what it is. I have to ask permission because they have to unlock it. Is there any way we can somehow support the smaller pharmacies, such as like Silverrod, which I love, which is on Church Avenue? Just, is there any way? Because I don't think they've been hit, but not as hard as Walgreens. I see them marching into Walgreens with the big IKEA bag where they're just kind of ready to take what it is. And so that was just my thinking that somehow we could support the smaller pharmacies that are struggling because Walgreens does pull away. But like when the Rite Aid on Utica closed, it hurt because when I'm getting off from work and I'm coming down Utica Avenue, it's good. I was able to pick up, like paper towels and bring that to the house. And then if I needed anything on Church, I could just take the shopping cart. Now I have to take the shopping cart all the way to Utica just to get paper towel, come back, and then because the paper towel takes so much space, and then go back again. And so it definitely hurt the community, especially the Rite Aid that was on Utica Avenue. That one closed.
Yeah, I think, I'm always a fan of small businesses. So I think that's a good idea. I think what I'll do is reach out to the Commerce Committee and see if they have any sort of, registry of the number of small pharmacies in the area. And maybe we can, help them like reach out to people if they have a flyer that we can pass out just for people to know that there are these resources in the community that they can go to outside of just the big box pharmacies. I think that would be a good help. So I'm on board with that.
Just to make a point on that same supporting community pharmacies and so on, I think it's much more than that. The fact that a lot of the insurance companies that cover people, health insurance companies, they do not support those smaller community pharmacies in filling prescriptions. They don't subscribe. They tell you that, well, you can't fill your prescription there. You have to go to a large 90-day prescription filler, and they don't allow those small pharmacies to fill 90-day prescriptions, and so they're terribly underused. So it's more than just having the amenities available, but also prescription services is difficult to use the small pharmacies because the insurance does not support them. So I don't know if there's anything we can do to see how we can bridge that gap.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So thank you for mentioning it. I think the first thing we would do would be reach out to some of the legislators in our community, excuse me.
May I say something?
Yes.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And following up with what Mr. Green just said, and he's quite right, especially for instance, if you are an older person, and as you get older, you need more medications, most of us. What happens, as he said, these Medicare Advantage plans, etc., they are aligned. I don't know if many people know that, for instance, Rite Aid is associated with this pharmacy, or CVS is associated with United Healthcare, whatever. I don't know, people are aware. It's big business. And that's why the smaller pharmacies, for instance, are not going to get a big share of that, because it's a big business with connections among the pharmacies and the healthcare system. And I think that's some of the knowledge too. I think we need to have people who might be honest and come out and talk to us about how these things operate. So that's very true. So when you have these big businesses, and in our communities, again, yes, people are stealing, but as many said just now, it's absurd that you need to get something and you have to wait for them to open from the most minute thing. They have to open for you in order to get what you would like to get. And it's insulting, it's embarrassing, and it's unfair. So there are quite a few things happening. It's just not, in my opinion, well, let's support the small. It would be nice to do that, but it's more than just that. It's greater than we really look at it from the outside.
Yeah, I didn't know about the health insurance thing at all. So that's a good point. I think regarding both the health insurance and the, sort of, I would call it like customer treatment at the big box stores, I think the best avenue would be to contact our electeds to see if there's any advocacy that they can do on behalf of, both us as a committee and the community at large, just to let them know, what people are feeling on ground and how these things are affecting people, and if they can push some of these business owners to behave in a way that benefits our community more. So I'll start that outreach, and then maybe they can one of them or a representative can come to one of these meetings and chat with us, and then we can bring it to the wider community.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, great. Anything else? Any new business anyone else wants to bring up? Okay, hearing none. Can someone please move to adjourn?
Simone Sylvester moved to adjourn.
Thank you. Do we have a
second that?
Thank you very much. Meeting is officially adjourned. Again, thank you all so much for coming. Really appreciate your attendance and participation. And I will be in contact over email.
Thank you.
Thank you.